We're asked to evaluate this limit as h approaches 0 of 1 minus cosine of 7h over cosine squared of 5h minus 1. I'm going to change h to t, actually, x, because it doesn't change anything about the problem in this case. Instead, I'm going to look at evaluating the limit as t approaches 0 of 1 minus cosine of 7t over cosine squared of 5t minus 1. Now, our first approach is probably to try to do this in Desmos. And it asks me if I want to add a slider of t, and I'm going to have to tell it that this is actually a function of t. Wow, this is kind of gnarly. What I'm interested in here is the limit as this value approaches 0. And I need to be really, really tight. I need to be really close on this. A table, add table. And I'm going to look for values that are close to 0, but not touch. I'm going to look for a trend in terms of what values those are approaching. Again, what I'm looking for is what's in common to these. So as I take several that are close, where the x value is close to 0, but not quite 0, what do I see? Well, I'm seeing over and over again that I'm seeing this negative 0.98 plus some things. So that tells me the limit is probably negative 0.98. And the question is whether or not that's close enough to what the computer is expecting in this case. It's always the issue with approximations, whether or not it's close enough. If we tried to go tighter, we would actually run into an issue that the computer struggles with small numbers. You might think the computer is more accurate with small numbers, but no, computers actually struggle when the numbers get too small. And especially Desmos, which is more like a graphing calculator, if you make the number too small, it actually has issues and goes the other way. For something where you need a lot of precision, it might be better to look at Symbolab. Symbolab is built on a symbolic framework. And so it's going to do this problem and it's going to try it. So can I do lim and subscript x, and then how do I get an arrow? Cannot see any arrow. Oh, there they are. They're the arrows. Okay, great. Where are the arrows? Aha, it's an arrow. Awesome. So I got limit as x approaches 0, and then I need to have a fraction, yes, of 1 minus cosine of, and I want to find that. I want to actually evaluate that. So I want to actually go over to where it says go, click go. And it tells me that the exact answer is negative 49 over 50, which as a decimal is negative 0.98. Now notice it actually tries to show me what step-by-step of this would look like. It's a one-line calculation because it's doing something called L'Hopital's rule that we'll learn about later. But for right now, this is good enough. Knowing there are different tools, knowing that sometimes the graphing tool isn't easy to work with, you can use a symbolic tool that'll give you an exact answer, and that's probably better. So if I instead put negative 49 divided by 50, that's also equivalent